Hello, welcome to the Health-Inn Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. You've come to the right place to tune in and participate with your comments and questions. Love is the greatest healer of all, but sometimes, in order to change our emotions, we must take action in other spheres of our lives. We speak with experts in alternative and complementary health fields and hope you will benefit in some small or great way. Remember, you are wherever your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be. Welcome to the Health-Inn Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. We have a marvelous guest, Jackie Synnott from Ireland. A special day to celebrate with people all around the world for so many, many wonderful reasons. To be joyous for the holiday of Purim. It says, the beginning is embedded in the end, said the Kabbalists, and the end in the beginning. Everything has a beginning and an end. The beginning precedes all other stages and particulars, and the end follows them all. But the beginning, if it is a true beginning, contains the seeds of all that is to follow. And the end, if it is true end, is the culmination and fulfillment of everything that precedes it. And Jackie has created a book, a seed to plant in your memory, in a mother's memory, a father's memory, in a child's memory, how to remember mnemonically with these rhymes the homeopathic remedies for healing. And it's so exciting to speak with her. Hello there.
Debbie.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear from across the world. And you're celebrating a special holiday there.
Absolutely. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
I pulled out the green just for you. The Irish blessing says, may your pockets be heavy and your heart be light. May good luck pursue you each morning and night. That is, you can put that in your book. Where will you put that? Oh, the little rainbow, what is shamrocks? What is coins. The coins? That's the coins. He has the gold, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Absolutely.
So we will sprinkle today's talk with poetry and good wishes. I will want to introduce you formally, Jackie Synnott, author of Rhymes for Remedies, this incredible book, which I read front to back, cover to cover, to my 88-year-old mom, who loved it. And she is a student of the Irish School of Homeopathy, lives in Cork with her husband, Peter. Thank you for helping us get online. And daughter, Casey. Homeopathy has been an integral part of her life since the birth of her daughter in 2011?
2011, that's
yeah,
correct.
And so she will tell us a little bit now about how she got started with homeopathy from her previous life.
Okay, well, I suppose I found homeopathy just after the birth of my daughter, Casey. I think motherhood changes everything for every mother. So it's not just about you anymore, it's about another life. And I knew that I had to take responsibility for her well-being. And I needed to look into complementary medicine and look at natural remedies that will help her when she's unwell. I recall my sister saying to me when I was pregnant, oh, I hope you're not going to be one of those moms who go to the doctor every 5 minutes with a sniffle. And I thought to myself, no, I definitely don't want that. I need to, take this into my own hands as well and have that responsibility. So I went and I researched to look at doing workshops in homeopathy. I found it very difficult at the beginning to find books, just basic, simple books about the basic introductory to homeopathy, because I didn't know anything at all about it. And I found that quite difficult. And even looking at where to go and find a workshop, that was quite difficult too. But I did come across a lovely homeopath called David Jeffries, and he used to run 6-week courses, 1 hour a week for the basic introductory to homeopathy here in Cork. So I enrolled in that, and that gave me a taster of homeopathy, but I still wasn't completely convinced and, confident that I could use this at home. So he told me about the Irish School of Homeopathy. So when I contacted them, they were having weekend workshops for the public, so I enrolled in that. And we had a fascinating, wonderful homeopath called Bernie Smith, and she was absolutely brilliant, and it really gave a good taste of what homeopathy is about, and it really, fed my appetite to learn more. So I enrolled in their short course, which was over 6 months. It was one weekend a month, and that kind of brought it into a deeper level of homeopathy. And we were using Miranda Castro's book, The Complete Handbook. So that became a real big book in my life at that time. And then after that, it was just, you don't just learn about homeopathy, but you were learning about nutrition, and you were learning a lot more than just about remedies. It's kind of a way of life too. So after that, I decided I'd enroll in the 4-year practitioner course. So, which has brought me to now. We're just nearly at the end of completing second year, and I have another 2 years to fulfill before I'm qualified. So it's very exciting. And it's also exciting because the Irish School of Homeopathy is celebrating 25 years this year, and it's one of the longest established colleges in Europe. So I'm really proud to be a part of that at this time, which is fantastic.
It's so right now you're taking courses and it's on the weekends so that you get to stay home and take care of your daughter Casey. And you've been working with homeopathy for 2 years since how old is she now?
Well, she'll be 3 in May, so
Okay.
it's nearly 3 years, yeah.
So we have so many questions to ask you about your education and about how the book came about.
Okay, I suppose my background would be PR and marketing. I did that for over 10 years. So it's a big change to go from that kind of an industry into, staying at home and learning and studying homeopathy. But how the book came about was that in first year we had to devise or create a remedy kit. So it could be on anything. It could be something on the menopause, a remedy kit for menopause. It could be childbirth. It could be first aid. But I decided I'd do a basic, simple remedy kit for children's acute ailments.
Okay.
And I wanted to put it into a very basic, simple format for the layperson, for that ordinary woman, for that young mom, that she could actually take this book and go to the section on fevers or the section on bruises and look at the remedies and know which remedy that she can give to her daughter or her son or her family. So when I was thinking about this project, I was also teaching my daughter nursery rhymes. And as I was teaching her the nursery rhymes, remedies started popping into my head. So I was thinking, okay, well, if Humpty Dumpty had a fall, think of arnica, So I started to devise little sections of the rhymes to associate a remedy. And the idea of Rhymes for Remedies was born.
I want to just show a picture. This is the first of the remedies. Can you see? Here. Okay. So this is Humpty Dumpty, and I think that it's wonderful the way you designed and devised the entire book. If I go to the table of contents, you have these sections called bruises, burns, colds and flu, colic, cuts and open wounds, earaches, fever, and sleeplessness. Those are the sections. And with each section, you have selected 3 top remedies. I thought it was, I don't know how you selected which ones, because there are so many, and a new mom or new parent or guardian or caretaker can get so easily confused. This is like really a fantastic introduction. And tell us a little bit more about how you selected the categories.
Well, when I suppose for me, having done my short courses, and I was prescribing at home, and I have a young daughter, so you'd be surprised how many remedies you do use, for the colds, flu, for the cuts. And I thought, okay, I need to, what remedies do I know, and what remedies are very common, and what remedies do I use a lot? So I looked at the amount of remedies I had, and then I decided, okay, let's break them down, because, I mean, there are so many remedies out there, that for me, I picked the top 3 uppermost that were relevant for me, and the ones that I actually used, because then at least I could talk about them, and put them in their category. So that's how I came up with the that idea of just breaking it down to my top 3 remedies, which wasn't, very easy. I mean,
it must not have been easy to do that, to select the 3. And so does that mean that there's like 24 remedies in your kit?
That's it. It's 24 remedies. Yeah. It was actually, the reason why there's 24 remedies that was actually part of the project.
Oh.
It had to be a 24 remedy project. So at least I had something to go with. But bearing in mind, this was just a project. This was not an idea to publish it. It was just a project at that time. It didn't really come, I didn't really decide to publish it until I actually got it printed in a hard copy. We actually sent away a company in San Francisco, blurb.com. We sent the book away, and we got it printed in hardcover. And when it arrived and I opened it, I was like, oh my God, I love this book. I have to share it.
Well, it's your baby. It's your second baby, really.
It is, yeah, it is, absolutely.
All of the students have to create the 24 remedy kit of whatever it happens to be. And yours was the acute care for young children. I think this is the basic concept. Yeah. And really it's geared toward both the child to learn, which is my long-term vision for homeopathy. My long-term vision is that every child growing up in every level of schooling will be learning homeopathy, so that they have that confidence and knowledge base to care for themselves and the people around them in any emergency type of a situation. And this book is perfect.
No, and it is so important that we get children involved when they're taking remedies. Like my daughter, 3, she's like, I need my arnica, And I love the fact that when she's unwell, she says, Mom, I need my arnicas. And for that, it's amazing. I haven't given her any over-the-counter medication or anything. It's just been homeopathy and home remedies and herbal medicine. So I'm so happy for that, because it's giving her immune system a chance,
Exactly. So, we need to also educate the public about the immune system and how little we really know about it, and what the challenges that we give to it every day, and how we can assist it in all of the alternative care modes, including homeopathy and just love and massage and the castor oil packs or whatever it is. You learn all of that stuff.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I have been doing some baby fairs and baby markets,
Hmm.
promoting the book. And I've been talking with a lot of different women about, oh, look, what products do you use? And a lot of them wouldn't have heard of homeopathy. Yet, in fact, they had been using homeopathy.
Really?
They had, yes, I said, I said to one lady, oh, so what do you do for teething? And she said, oh, I give my child the Nelson teether granules. And I said, oh, well, so you're giving your daughter or your child a chamomilla. It's a homeopathic remedy. No, it isn't. And I'm like, yes, it is. And even arnica, they didn't know that it
Uh-huh.
was homeopathy. So it really, I mean, this book is definitely a mainstream book, to teach people that it's okay, and it's safe and it can be used with conventional medicine. One lady was asking, if she gave her daughter some Calpol for the fever, can she use a remedy as well? And it was saying, yes, of course you can, doesn't interfere with conventional medicine. And that's good for them to know because, some over-the-counter prescriptions, you have to wait for a few hours before you give another dose. And at least she can go in with a remedy, So that's important that they know that too.
That's awesome. I'm going to read just a poem. I should read from your book, but I'm going to read. May God give you colors in your life, colors of joy, colors of happiness, colors of love, colors of friendship, and colors so relations that last forever. And this is for one of the greetings for the holy day in India, because it's full of color and they paint, and I'm going to pick up a picture of your daughter in a little while, but this is a time of joy and celebration and sharing all of our stories, our life stories that you have been going to these fairs and marketplaces and letting people know, educating people, and creating awareness for everyone. Tell me some of the great stories that have happened from people who have gotten the book.
Well, there was a really, really, really beautiful story. This lady I met at the market, she was 32 weeks pregnant and she had bought a mother and baby kit and she was very interested about using homeopathy for her birth. So we had a conversation about different remedies. So I said I'd email her some information on that. And I also gave her a contact number for one of my homeopaths in Cork if she wanted to go and see her and have a chat. So that was fine. She bought my book and I emailed her and she thanked me and that was it. And then one evening on a Friday night, I received an email and it was this lady saying, I'm at the hospital, my water's broke, the baby is 6 weeks early, I'm on antibiotics, and I just automatically felt her fear. She said, I have the kit with me,
Mm-hmm.
can you recommend a remedy? And I
Mm-hmm.
told her, okay. Firstly, I wanted to reassure her, that you're in the right place, you know, and just relax, because I know how scary that can be. And then I told her to take the remedy aconite.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't hear anything back from her. So I logged on the next morning and I didn't hear anything again. And then that evening, I got a beautiful message from her saying that she took the aconite
Mm-hmm.
and it made her so relaxed that she fell asleep. She woke up at 6 a.m. and was having contractions, and she took a second aconite. And 2 hours later, she said everything was going perfectly fine. She was calm. They ended up giving her an epidural, and 20 minutes after the epidural, her baby was born. Baby is healthy and happy, and she had a really relaxed birth. So I was so happy to hear that story. How aconite really, really helped her, how powerful it was. And baby was so calm and less stressed as well, arriving. So that's a great story.
That's a great story. And it's one of the things that why we say have an emergency kit, because
Mm-hmm.
it can come in at any time. And midwives know that aconite is one of the prime remedies for giving birth and fear. And so in your book, this section 7, you have section 7 is fever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody can see. Don't worry about anything falling. And you have selected 3 remedies: aconite, belladonna, and ferrum phos.
Yes.
So maybe we will read. Do you want to read your poem that you selected for aconite?
Okay. Okay, so we have Little Miss Muffet, think aconite. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider, who sat down beside her and bitten Miss Muffet away. Yeah, it's so funny every time I say this to my daughter. She gets a little fright, and I say, "You need some aconite."
Oh,
Yes,
good. It rhymes
yeah,
that way too. I didn't think about it. So
yeah.
tell the listening audience, on the one page you have this illustration, a very powerful, colorful illustration on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, you have all of the information to study and learn, both for the guardian and for the child, that they can learn how it relates as a mnemonic. And so you have it: general symptoms, emotional and mental symptoms, other uses, and background. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this one in particular, aconite?
Well, why I concised it all down was because when you have a child who is ill and you're a little bit stressed and you don't know what to do, you need to get to the book and you just need to see in bold what exactly the symptoms are, how are they emotionally. So I use kind of almost like keynotes. So the general symptoms, I said, complaints from cold, dry, wind, or getting chilled, a complaint from a fright or shock, a sudden onset of a complaint, the face is pale, high intense fevers, the pain is unbearable, there are palpitations, there's extreme anxiety with fear, there's burning thirst, there's anxious and restless, they could be vomiting from the shock, and it is the number one remedy for mental shock. And it's the fevers that alternate with chills at night, burning dry with a rapid pulse and anxiety. The child feels better for fresh air and company, and the child is worse for nighttime around midnight, and it's worse for touch. In the emotional and mental symptoms, we can see restlessness, we screaming with pain, sensitivity to noise, anticipation, inconsolable with anxiety, anxious when chilled, fearful during a fever, and the pains are sudden and violent. And I also said that there are other uses for aconite, such as sleeplessness, sore throats, frights, teething, and also a good remedy for childhood illnesses like the croup and chickenpox, measles.
Right.
And then there's just a little line about the plant that it where it grows, and the homeopathic remedy is prepared from the whole plant, which is pounded and pulped, and the juices are mixed with alcohol and then succoused. So it gives an abbreviation of the background information and just keynotes of the general emotional mental symptoms. So there's not a lot of material there. There's just enough for you to get that remedy picture of the essence of the remedy aconite.
Right. And if somebody tries to use it, let's say their child, because this is in the fever section. So, and then if they try the aconite because their child is having a fever and it's from the cold wind and it's like a croupy cough and things like this, and there's a lot of fear of death and pain and stuff like that, and then it doesn't work. As a homeopath, we know that there is a triad, aconite and spongia and another one, right? So if we don't know it and we don't have it in the book, then it's always recommended to have a contact information to call your homeopath. that
Absolutely.
you do as much as you can with what you have and your knowledge. And this is an intro book. It's good for learning, but if it's not working, because we know sometimes you have to get the exact right remedy, then you do have to get other books, more advanced books or a repertory. And is that somewhere in here, any kind of a reference? Well, I guess Miranda's book.
Yes. I think, yeah, I mean, this book is a basic, simple introductory starter for
Uh-huh.
your acutes. Like, you should have this book along with a kit at home for treating acutes. And I think once you start getting into using homeopathic remedies, I would advise people to enroll um, on a workshop or a course, and there you'll get some more knowledge into things. You know, like treating coughs. I mean, there's thousands of remedies to do that. It's not that easy treating coughs. Um, so that people would actually have to go on and continue. I would definitely recommend Miranda Castro's book as the next step. And
Right.
when you do workshops, people will, a lot of colleges use that book and help you reference and reprise and, you know, get your tick sheet out and go through symptoms. Whereas this book is very much the starter, very simple introductory course to learning about homeopathy.
And one of the things I think about is when I used to read books to my kids, it was the same book every night for a year because they love repetition, just like stories are repetitive. And this way, it really can be used as something, a nighttime, something to put them to sleep. Do you have a picture? No. So it to as an educational tool, but also as fun and getting close to your child and preparing them for life and so many things, so that this information gets embedded into your mind and your heart, that you know what to do in different situations. I like also, like you described in the aconite, the general symptoms, you gave modalities. The child feels better for fresh air and company, and the child feels worse for nighttime around midnight. So we learned that there are certain witching hours, and
Mm-hmm.
worse for touch. So interesting. You know, these are little things that we become familiar with through the studying and reading of this book. Tell us another story about somebody who called you or contacted you after getting your book.
Well, there was a lady who emailed me. Her son had a very distressing cough. There was retching involved. He had to sit up. He was retching while coughing at night. But she was very concerned about his behavior. He was very angry. She was working. She works part time, and the childminder was saying he was in such bad form. He was so moody. He was capricious. It was just, you know, the mood was really, really bad. And she said, I've looked at the book. I know there's no coughs in remedies in the book, but she said, I really feel he needs chamomilla. So she said she had taken him to the GP, and the GP would not prescribe anything for him because he felt that there was no need, there was no upper respiratory infection. So she didn't know what to do. So I said to her, well, look, if you feel he needs chamomilla, we'll just try it and see what happens. And she did give him chamomilla, and she emailed me 2 days later, and the cough had stopped, and his mood
Really?
was great. And
So
yeah, and
even,
I found that
yeah. What did you feel?
I I found that fascinating. For me, I learned something there. I mean, I've never used chamomilla for a cough, you know, but it
Uh-huh.
just goes to show that it wasn't just the cough. She was looking at the totality
She
of
understood her child. She knew her child
absolutely.
and
She
the
knew what
temperament.
needed to be cured as well. As much as the cough was there was a physical symptom, but she knew that what needed to be cured was he was expressing, and he was in a chamomile state. And I just thought that was amazing. It was great. It
So
made me
now
think.
we have to go in and study and investigate chamomilla for coughs to see. what it says in the Materia Medica,
Mm-hmm.
right? Right. So, yeah. Do you have another story?
I do. I
You're
actually,
going to be
this was,
collecting these stories too now.
yeah. Um, there was another story of this had happened a week after the lady who had given birth and that had used aconite. There seemed to be a bout of aconite happening. This lady contacted me and she said her son, she reckoned he had the croup. She had been to the doctor and he was prescribed antibiotics. And they'd taken the antibiotics, and it was 8 days later, and he still had it, and it was very distressing, and she was very upset. And she said that he sounded as if he smoked 40 cigarettes.
Oh,
It was that bad. And then she said it was almost, she said, I don't know what to do. I'm very distressed. And she said, I'm reading your book, and I'm reading all of the different the Materia Medica section of all of the remedies, and she said, I really feel he needs aconite.
okay.
And I said, okay, well, why don't you try the aconite? And they were up the country as well, so she had eventually found a health shop that actually had aconite, and gave him the remedy. I think she said she gave him 4 doses over the 2 days, and it cleared it. And that was incredible.
Well, we're looking
So,
at, the top two remedies of all of homeopathy. Number one is probably arnica, bumps, bruises,
mhm.
contusions, things like that. It's your Humpty Dumpty story that somebody.
Yeah.
The only thing about Humpty Dumpty is I think that his shell breaks, and I don't think about. I don't know if I think of arnica for the shell breaking. Excuse me. I think I might be thinking of calcarea carbon eggshell, but or thuja for being very fragile and breaking. But
Yeah.
if you think about him being a soft Humpty Dumpty, a hard boiled egg, who a Humpty that's hard boiled egg, and he falls, and then it becomes black and blue, and then he's good for arnica, which I love. He did have a great fall. So your daughter said that he could be put back together again if he had had arnica.
Yeah, she said he could get up on the wall again if he had some arnica.
Yeah, he could bounce like a ball, which is really good for sports people. Um,
Yeah.
Gee whiz. We had a question in the chat there about the organization, and we will repeat again that the book is divided into 8 sections. Each section has 3 main remedies: bruises, burns, colds and flu, colic, cuts and open wounds, earaches, fever, and sleeplessness. And it's interesting that the story you gave, the second most popular remedy, aconite, even though
Hmm.
it's listed under colds and flu, it's not listed under colds and flu as one of your main remedies, but it is a cold and flu remedy. You have it
Yeah.
listed under fever. So that must
Yeah.
have been really hard to break away and select, where am I going to put this remedy, in which group?
I know that it was really difficult, and especially, when you look at aconite, I mean, the first 24 hour of any symptoms, you could give an aconite. I mean, it's my husband's number one remedy. That's
Hmm.
the one he goes for all the time. And it is hard, to find out exactly where I'm going to put, because aconite can be used in so many sections. But I used aconite for fevers with and I just felt that it
Hmm.
was, I wanted to put it into the fever section. But what I like about it is with all of them is when I put them into their section, I have at the end other uses for aconite or other uses for belladonna.
Oh, okay,
So,
right. Other
yeah, so you've got
yeah,
like,
each page for each remedy shows other uses. So that is the way
yeah.
that you handled that tricky situation. So that
Yes.
because all of these remedies overlap, people will learn that homeopathy is holistic, and if they understand what's going on with the totality of the case of the person, that, like that woman who knew it was chamomile, or what did you
Yeah,
say? Yeah,
chamomilla, yeah.
yeah, for a
But
cough.
also the
Yeah.
in the health shops who are stocking the book, it's great information for them, and that's the feedback I got back from them because they don't know a lot. They've got a certain selection of remedies,
Mm-hmm.
and they wouldn't know uh, a lot. Like the pulsatilla can be for the cold, pulsatilla can be for the earache. They didn't know that, and one lady told me that it's great that they reference the book, and they love the fact when they have the other uses they didn't realize. You know, a friend of mine used arnica for a headache. She
Oh,
said it was,
definitely.
you know, and they didn't know that. They just thought arnica was just for a bruise, you know, Bellus perennis, you know, deeper again, for women who had C-sections. They wouldn't have known that. They would have just prescribed arnica.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great for their knowledge too, because I don't know if a lot of them go and do courses, you know, on homeopathy.
Well, let's
So
tell people where they can get the book at www.homeopathyworks.com. That is homeopathy, Washington Homeopathic Labs in the United States. That's where you can get it from this area of the planet. And what about if they are near you in Ireland?
oh, well, you can get it from Kenny's.ie in Ireland, or you can get it from Nariana Publishers, which are based in
Nariana?
Germany.
Okay.
And you can get it from Helios and Ainsworth in the UK. Or you can log on to rhymesforremedies.com.
Excellent. Lots of different ways to get it. And tell us now, when you got the book in your hand and you were like wowed over it, you said, "Oh my gosh, look what I have here." How
Yeah.
did you decide who was your target audience?
Okay, well, being honest, I saw the book and I said, "Oh, I have to publish this. Definitely, I have to publish this. This is perfect for, the new mum. It's perfect for kids who have grown up with homeopathy and want to learn more, and it's a great gift." So I said I'd self-publish it, and it's not a very easy task to self-publish a book. Um, and I wanted to also print the book in Ireland because at the back of the book it's got the print Irish stamp, and it is from a
Print Irish.
local printer, selfpublishedbooks.ie in Cork, and we worked with them on the book, and it won an award for Best Digital Print as part of the Irish Print Awards in November. So that was, fantastic. Um, so it was great.
Congratulations. It's really rising. And when you said earlier that it's a mainstream book, then whenever you hear that word, I always automatically think #1 New York Times bestseller. How could we get it there to make more people aware of homeopathy? I mean, if it's not just a children's book, it's really an adult book. It's an educational book. It's a fun
Yes.
book. I mean, everything is in it. And tell us a little bit about the illustrations too, because when you first got that first book, was it already illustrated?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Me and Paul. Oh, Paul Delaney is a really well-known Irish artist.
uh-huh.
He is not just so talented, but he is such a positive, wonderful person to be around. So working with him on designing the book it was a lot of fun. Um, so yeah, so I told Paul I just wanted to have the book in a fresh, kind of colorful view of homeopathy. And homeopathy is fun. It's really fun learning about it. So I wanted that to be the essence of the book. And I think with his illustrations, it brought the book to life. It really did. And it really stood out when people saw it. They were like, wow. And yes, as you
Very
said,
colorful.
it
I don't
is,
see you
yeah.
could see the
And what's
colors.
great about it is I'm really grateful for the libraries in Ireland for stocking the book right
Oh,
across the country. And that's a great achievement in itself to have the book there for parents and for children. So it's great. And also, what I meant by mainstream was that there's a lot of parenting magazines and kind of women's weekly magazines that have featured the book
uh-huh.
in them. and review them. And that's fantastic because, you know, you don't read about homeopathy in these kind of magazines, and you don't really have a lot of variety of homeopathic books in small little independent bookshops. So I'm delighted with the people who are stocking it and believing in the product, which is fantastic.
That's such a great recommendation, because now that you say this to me, I can go to my local library and I can say, here's this book that would be fit into your, where would we stock it? In the self-help, in the children's section? What section would we put it? And I can go to my booksellers locally. I can go to my libraries and ask them.
Oh, absolutely. Great.
So, but what section will they put it into? The children's section or the self-help, or the what?
Well, they put it into the parenting section.
Parenting section.
I know some of the libraries stock more than one book, and they have one in the, I think it's age, is it 9 upwards in the children's section, and then they have one in the parenting section, because they felt for the older child, it's quite interesting as well. And there's a little review on YouTube from the editor's daughter of the Irish Independent. And she reviewed the book, how she loved the nursery rhymes and the colours and the artwork. So she was interested in that. So it just meant that, you know, kids like it for another reason as well, besides
it's just got everything in it. I'm definitely going to go to my library, and I recommend anybody out there to do the same thing and get this book out to the public. Michelle on the chat says, I have a question about Jackie and the book. Are you the type of person who thinks in rhymes? Did you write the book with children in mind? I think it sounds like a really playful book, and know that rhyming and stories are a wonderful way for people to remember things.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
You're so sweet.
It is. It's lovely. I just want to just say to you as well, Debbie, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's such a privilege, and for all my peers in the homeopathy community for supporting me. It's just amazing. I'm just so happy to be a part of the community. Thank you.
You just dove right in. You became a mother, and look what happened to you. You told me, I said, how did you find homeopathy? And you told me homeopathy found you. I thought that was so beautiful. You know, it could have been anything. You could have found massage or Reiki or anything else. But look what you found, just this rich resource for you, and that you're bringing this treasure to everyone else. I think it's incredible. So I guess you don't think in rhymes.
No.
I did have, let's see. You know, I've been doing a lot of, I'm taking a course myself, and I have to learn through doing some kind of brain tricks, you know, and mnemonics are a really big thing today. And using rhymes is one of a form of mnemonics. And you do a lot of play on it. Like you said, aconite, fright. So, I mean, there are different things. There were a couple in here that I had to puzzle about. I had to say, what are you connecting with the rhyme? I don't remember exactly which one it is, but I did finally figure it out. Do we want to read a couple more from the book? I think I would like to talk about this one remedy, coffea, because maybe you might not think about giving coffea to children. It comes in the section of sleeplessness. And we have 3 remedies are your top 3: arsenicum album, stramonium, and coffea.
Yes, it's that remedy that reminds me of the excitement, you know, of what's happening tomorrow, the school party. Oh, I'm so excited. And then they just keep going and they become into a coffee estate. And I that's why I put that in. It's that over excitement of something about to happen the next day. And I found that was a good remedy to have in, because the stramonium is all about the dark house. It's the nightmare, you know. And the arsenicum, I used it so much with Casey when she was younger. That restlessness, you know, it was just, when you see restlessness like that, you're like, that's arsenicum, and it works a treat. And people wouldn't have known to use those remedies for sleeplessness, because arsenicum is a great remedy for food poisoning. You know,
Yes, I've used it many a time for that.
yes, I used
Many
it recently.
time. So
Yeah.
sing us your rhyme for coffee.
Oh, Casey loves this one. I can't really sing, but I'll go for it. Faire Jacques, dormez-vous, sonne la mattina, ding
Ding
dang
dong,
dong, ding
ding
dang
ding
dong.
dong. And then it's Brother James.
Brother James,
Why did
are
I
you
have to sing it to
sleeping?
me?
Are you
I
sleeping?
did.
Ring the morning bells, ding dang dong. So he couldn't sleep. He was
Uh-huh.
thinking about so much excitement. Couldn't
Excitement.
sleep.
And
Yeah,
so, yes. And also you
see,
have it listed, you know, it could be a remedy for the midwife as well, screaming with pain. It is another complaints of unbearable pain similar to aconite. So you get to see comparisons. Hey, why don't
yeah.
we throw up this picture of your little Casey? She went, it's such a beautiful child. This is her this morning going to school with her butterfly painting on her face, looking so beautiful. Does everybody get to see it? So
They see the show.
if you see the show and you're looking at the video, there she is. Isn't that a beautiful child? Michelle has more to say. She asked if she thought in rhymes because her grandmother was one who told all the children's stories. She loved to recite the stories and some of the rhymes. There's a rhyme for that too, but it's a delightful habit. Yeah, I think that there is actually a homeopathic remedy for people who speak and think in rhymes. I'd have to look it up. I don't know it by heart. But that was such a beautiful picture of Casey that I wanted to share with everyone, that she was a happy child and not really, I heard her playful voice this morning. Everything was going well. Uh-huh. So you're thinking of mental activity for the coffee estate. And people can learn to understand how a crude medicine, a crude drug like drinking too much coffee can
Yes.
cause this restlessness, this agitation, this sleeplessness, this overexcitement, all of these things by taking the coffee. Now, can you antidote the effects of coffee by taking a coffea homeopathic?
Can it be antidoted by
No,
drinking coffee?
no, we'll do kind of the reverse. Let's say you've had 10 cups of coffee today and you really can't sleep. Uh,
Oh, take a coffee. Yeah.
take the coffea as the energy, the similar remedy. I know Gabrielle Seelman is out there. If you have anything else to say about coffea, please chime in here. You don't have to rhyme, but you can chime. Um,
You can
and
sing if you want.
you can sing to us. Call in and sing us a song. And you know, when you have this overexcitement, this is a day for coffea. Lots and lots of celebration, lots of people with activities and lots of sugar and treats, getting together with company and anticipation of what's going to happen during the day. Gabrielle Seelman says a lot of thoughts which come into the mind instead of sleeping. So is the coffee estate. So mind is really got all of these thoughts churning. The other remedy that I think about is Nature Muriaticum, even though you have a limitation of 3 remedies. Maybe in your next book, Part 2, you might
Right.
add, it wouldn't be in your, I don't know if it'd be in your kit, but you say other uses for coffee. Maybe you can say a section that says other remedies, similar remedies, or for
Remedy
similar,
relations.
what did you say?
Going into remedy relations.
Remedy relations. Great,
Okay.
great. This
Yeah.
is, I'm not a critic of your book. I love your book.
Oh
But
no.
but there's so much in homeopathy to learn, and I might think of another remedy as a top remedy for the sleeplessness, although these are fabulous ones. And we can expand, we can teach a little bit more in each new book. Okay, do you have another special page that you think you want to tell us about? I also noticed that every decoration, every illustration has a cloud. And I was trying to find out, I was trying to pick up the theme in the illustrations, whether it's weather, here like in Nux Vomica, you have snow and snowflakes and turning of wind.
Mm-hmm. I think the clouds as well.
The clouds
When
is
you
a,
when you look at the cloud, it's almost like, the cloud is just over your head saying think. So
ah,
like the robin, think Nux Vomica. And I wanted the illustration. If people didn't remember the rhyme, they'd remember, the illustration. Oh, the one with the bird, or the one with the cats. That's the remedy. That's for X, Y, or Z. So that they could associate visually. Because some
no,
people are more visual with learning, and then other people
right.
use associations. So I tried to tap all of that in there.
You did tap into it. Each of the little figures, each one is like a a ladybug or a person or somebody with a hat, and it's like makeup. It's very cartoonish,
Yes, very nice.
exaggerated,
Yes,
if the image. But now that you say, every single one that you have is a cloud, every single picture does have a cloud. And
yes,
now I realize the cloud,
yes,
we throw the information up into the clouds and we
yes,
store it there. So how apropos to today.
yeah.
Do you want to select another page, another remedy that you think people will enjoy?
I like the remedy with the ladybird.
Oh, you do.
Um,
Okay, and
yeah,
the
it's
lady, okay, and I call it a ladybug, and you
yeah,
call it a ladybird. Okay,
ladybird.
okay, go for it.
Okay, so ladybird, ladybird, fly away home. Your house is on fire and your children are gone. All except one, and her name is Anne, and she hid under the frying pan. Ladybird, ladybird, fly away home. Your house is on fire, your children shall burn. Ladybird, ladybird, fly away home. Your house is on fire, your children all roam, except little Nan, who sits in her pan, weaving her laces as fast as she can. And that is the remedy, Cantharis, burning remedy. And I just, the whole poem was burning, fire, hot, think, Cantharis. A lot of restlessness. The children are roaming, they're flying, get out of the house. That restlessness
You've
and
scared our
burning.
producer with this one. He says this is
Really?
a very scary remedy. I mean, the picture is kind of frightening of this. I think of a ladybug. I collect them. I hold them in my hand. I love them. And I see when they cover the side of the wall sometimes when they break out and hatch. And I love ladybug. Well, isn't there ladybird, ladybird? I think it's a ladybug. You don't know
We say
ladybird. I
ladybird.
think about, is it not rain? Rain, rain? No. Anyway, this one is great because now I learned a new poem, the whole poem, and make a connection to the fire, to the heat, to the frying pan, to the burning, which is
The
good
rest.
for You have here listed for uses sunburn. If I'm in the kitchen and I burn myself, I take Cantharis. This is one. So that frying pan really works. If you're out in the sun in the summertime and it's too hot and you lie there and you realize, oh my God, you look at your skin and it's bright red, that's a sunburn. And then for internal burning from a urinary infection or cystitis, you have this burning when you're urinating. And then this remedy, Cantharis, may come to the rescue for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Raw and soreness. Tell us a little bit about the background information, because I found that fascinating as well. For each one, you have given quite a bit of information of research about the origin of the substance and how many of the remedies are actually prepared homeopathically.
Yes, I decided to just put a small little bit of information there so that people know where the remedy, how it's made, and where it comes from. So you've got Cantharis is the Spanish fly. It's a green beetle. It's found in the south of France or Spain. If touched, the beetle produces unpleasant skin. So when you're looking at your skin after a burn and it gets blisters, the Spanish fly is one of the most ancient drugs known to man. Hippocrates described its values in treating dropsy 2,000 years ago. To make the homeopathic remedy, the flies are collected at dawn, they're killed and they're heated in the steam of hot water and vinegar, and then they are crushed and the homeopathic remedy is prepared by trituration. So it's just for people to kind of know what they're taking as well, but not going into too much detail.
That's true.
Yeah. Sometimes people will get frightened.
Not knowing. They want a little bit more information. That's awesome. And Michelle was asking why you didn't put the sulfur into burning, because she put it into the earache section. And so, like she had to choose which group is it going to go to. And she did hit all the high spots and all the main remedies. We're at the end of the hour. It really went quickly. Folks, you can get her book. You can get her book from Narayana, from Washington Homeopathy Works, from Rhymes for Remedies, lots of places. Please get it into your libraries. Put it into your bookstores. The name of the book, Rhymes for Remedies by Jackie Synnott in Ireland. Look at this character. This is what the whole book is about, this fun-loving rhymes and just a joy. We are at the end of today's show. I want to thank you so much for sharing the hour with us. And coming up, Alan will be on Blog Talk Radio, Freedomizer Radio, and Homeopathy World Community Radio, Blog Talk Radio on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, talking about vaccinations and your rights. Next week, we will be back here on the helth-Inn show. We're going to have an awesome show it's going to be a big show. Let me tell you who is going to, it's Dr. Regina. I'm looking up right now. Professor Regina Rianelli with her friends from Brazil, Dr. Lirio, and we have a couple, and Dr. Nicole Cambly, talking about seizures, convulsions, and epilepsy, very serious situations where they are using combination remedies formula to actually see results. And we're going to learn a lot about this condition in children and teens and adults. So I want to thank Amnon for this day. I want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day, happy Holy Day, and happy Purim, and all the change in the new moon. I put something awesome up on Facebook about the moon, and just take a look at it. Join us and share these shows. Everything is archived. Lots of love to you. Jackie, good luck.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye, everyone. Don't forget to watch Marilyn. She's going to turn lemons into lemonade.
tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health-Inn with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. That vidblasterguy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.